Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Superficial. We are chiropractors and functional medicine practitioners at Synapse Center for Health and Healing, located in Eagan, Minnesota. Information shared in this podcast is not intended to diagnose or treat any medical conditions. Please consult with a primary care provider before engaging in any new activity or protocol. With that in mind, let's dive into this episode.
Hello, welcome to Beyond the Superficial. I'm Jenica. I'm a health coach here at Synapse.
Dr. Ashley, chiropractor here and functional medicine provider.
I'm Dr. Katie. I'm also a chiropractor and functional medicine provider.
Right, so today we're kind of bringing to the table some topics of discussion for ourselves in our own health journeys. Things that we found that we kind of trial and error, or things that have been working for our body based off of maybe labs that we found, things that we found in the past, or just know about our health in general, or things that we've wanted to try to get us some answers. Does somebody want to kind of start with something that they've been doing in their life or changing in their life right now and seeing some kind of results from positive or negative?
I'll start. One thing, so I came back from Nepal from a long trip, end of February, I think I got back, and I just felt so puffy. Like around there, they eat a lot of rice, just like a lot of like grain things in general. I just felt so puffy when I came back, so I'm like, I need to change something. Like I was just looking at pictures of myself and I'm like, something is just off. And so I talked with Carrie, and I started to incorporate no grains and no added sugar. And so I've been on week 5 now, and it's been awesome. Like I lost 4 pounds of fat. I gained 1 pound of muscle from not even like changing my workout routine. Like literally just cleaning up my body and the inflammation. So I just feel like clear and just like less bloated. I think that was a huge thing with like overeating grains and rice, and for sure the sugar, the added sugar. Like I didn't eat like a ton before, but I think I did more than I thought. Because I probably say that, and it's just, I've made like huge changes. I'm like, I was definitely doing more than what I thought. Bloating was like a huge thing for me. And then just like seeing the body composition change has been exciting too, like feeling better. But I haven't like missed grains or missed sugar that much, because like
You change your taste buds.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah, definitely. And like I've been finding a lot of alternatives too, because like I do like to bake and things like that. So I've been doing, chickpea flour recently, which has been a lifesaver. And then, for sugar alternatives, I've been doing, monk fruit or stevia, or even like allulose, good prebiotic, using allulose. So I've been finding a lot of good alternatives, which has been helping. So yeah, that's kind of my recent change up, what I've been feeling great on.
How do you track, you mentioned like losing body fat and gaining muscle. How do you track that?
I checked it through a BIA, so our bioelectrical impedance analysis here. So you can see body fat, muscle mass, or that body cell mass, and then also hydration levels, so like fluid levels, your intracellular fluid versus extracellular fluid, to see if we have any excess inflammation. But yeah, that's how I tracked.
Yeah. Have you noticed any mood changes after taking those 2 things out?
Nothing too crazy, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always ask people that with grains and sugar. It's kind of big things. Especially week 1, we take out an elimination sugar. And I do tell people, like pre-warn people, like those are kind of 2 things, like mood stability and one, sleep too. But also sometimes with people just weight loss in general from inflammation. But it's really cool to be able to track it with the BIAs here.
Yeah. Because even like my workouts, like I was expecting to tank like with my CrossFit workouts, and I haven't really noticed any of that either. So I was kind of surprised.
Yeah.
Like how well my body like shifted. At around the same time though, I started really upping my protein though, just to make sure I was getting enough food in.
Yes.
So that's when I really tried to push, 145 grams of protein. So I think that dramatically helped prevent the crash.
Yes, and I want to
Yeah.
like reiterate that the 145 grams of protein. I mean,
Yeah.
we ask for a minimum of 90,
Mhm.
but super important when we take something out. And most of the time, if we're getting 90, we're replacing a lot of that food with those caloric intake is with grains.
Yeah.
So a lot of people
Yeah.
eating bread, rice, potatoes, oatmeal, noodles. Some of those weren't all grains, but like the grain side of things. So if we're taking grains out, people are kind of like, what do I eat? Well, eat some protein, eat some healthy fats, and then you'll see the change in the body composition, period,
Mhm.
when we add these really great nutrients in. So amazing.
I think it's
Yeah.
cool that you like notice differences by just literally changing your diet. Like
Yeah.
you didn't do a drastic diet change. I mean, you just cut out and
Yeah.
minimize like one thing
Yeah.
essentially, and you've already noticed a lot of improvements.
Yeah,
So it doesn't
and-
have to be this whole like lifestyle change,
No.
180. It's just one thing you did.
Yeah, and I got to the point where I just needed to like set boundaries for myself too, like in the grocery store, because like,
Yeah.
ooh, that looks good. Why
know.
not?
Oh,
But like setting boundaries for myself was so important and eye opening. Like I think that was like
Yeah.
the biggest takeaway from this, like so far in these 5 weeks. I think this will kind of be just more of like a lifestyle change from now on, like setting those boundaries and having, sugar every once in a while is fine, like with them with friends or
like the
It's been
90
good.
10 rule, or when it happens,
Mhm.
how to make the best choice possible, but not just making it a day decision. It's kind of like, this is my lifestyle change, and then once in a while decision versus like, oh, I have, like you said, this little bit of sugar, I'm having, and I feel the same way. It's like, oh, I don't have a lot, but like I probably have it multiple times in a day, little
Yeah.
amounts that,
Mhm.
what does that
Mhm.
end up consisting of? Same
Yeah.
with my 3-year-old. It's like, okay, yeah, he doesn't have much sugar because he's not eating, the lollipops and Skittles and candy bars, but like he's having it in a little bit here in his oatmeal and a little bit here in his cereal and a little bit,
It
adds up.
eventually it adds up.
And I think it was like helpful to me just have these 2 simple rules. Like it's 2 simple rules. Like it's
Yeah,
not
it's right there.
something crazy.
Yeah.
Like so mindfully it was easy to take on.
I like
Which
that.
is why I think I'm so successful at it.
Yeah.
It's probably the best I've done ever on something.
I think when you
Like
see
this.
results or you feel them,
Mhm.
they're really addicting.
Mhm.
And so for
Oh my
you,
gosh,
if you
yeah.
are like, I've already seen my body composition change or my mood changes or my energy, you're probably like, how much better could I feel if I keep doing this? So I think that's why it's better to have like smaller goals like that or just small changes, then they're going to become really addicting for you. I
Yeah.
feel like that for me too. Like it doesn't matter what it is, if it's health or work or whatever, if it's a small goal and you can keep making those little benchmark points,
Yeah,
it's more
tracking it.
addicting to keep going.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, something so simple in your brain.
yeah.
I think it's great that you're tracking it too, because that's what makes you see a difference
Yeah.
too. Like you can look at yourself and look at a picture in a mirror and notice, or your jeans fit differently.
Yeah.
But that
It's
tangible
fun to see the
evidence.
data.
Yeah.
What about you?
I've been walking more, which sounds so silly, but I just like growing up in sports, I love working out hard.
Yeah.
And I got an Oura Ring a couple weeks ago, and it's all the metrics are super cool, and I obviously nerd out on so many of them just because of what we do, but seeing like my resilience and my sleep score and how much, I weightlift a lot at the gym, and just seeing how bad my recovery was and like how much that was impacting my sleep and like how my stress levels were elevated through the whole day. And so I've kind of switched my workouts to help my sleep, but it's really interesting just to see the metrics and how my body responds. But I've been trying to walk a lot more, and I've been telling my patients that too, especially as it gets nicer. Walking is like the best medicine ever. And you can walk slowly, you can walk fast, you can do a 10-minute walk, 3 miles. So I've been trying at least most days at lunch, just do like a 10-minute walk. And especially on the days if I have like a lot of lab reviews and I'm sitting all day long, if I feel really tired mid-afternoon, I've noticed if I go for like a 10 or a 15-minute walk, I feel so much better in the afternoon. And it's almost counterintuitive. It's like the last thing you feel like doing if you have a super busy day or stressful day is exercise.
Yeah.
But sometimes just doing like very slow walking, like some fresh air, getting like 10 to 15,000 steps, you actually feel so much better. So it sounds silly, but more walking has helped me. So
Yeah. Good. Tell me about your wearable. You said you had an Oura Ring.
Yes.
So tell me what you've been tracking and how you've been tracking that.
So sleep was one of the big ones I was super interested in.
Yeah.
Just because, when you're stressed all day, sometimes I work out at night after work. And so just seeing how that impacts my sleep. Because of the time we get out of work, usually I'll work out in the evening and then I end up eating dinner late. and I try to go to bed really early. So it's like, do I have enough recovery time? So it's been really interesting to see my sleep and the lack of deep restorative sleep I've had, because a lot of times you think you're sleeping well, and if I have that mid-afternoon crash, I look back at my sleep score the night before, and if it was pretty bad, I can kind of go back to that. So that's been super interesting. I would say like the cycle tracking component of it for females is super cool too. Just kind of seeing, it's not things you learn in school when you first learn about like women's health, but how your temperature changes and just like how it fluctuates, and kind of following that with like your mood and your hunger and all that as it changes through the 4 weeks. So I feel like those are the two things. And then just kind of like your resilience. This was super interesting. It was like a week after I got my ring, and I got pretty sick, and it was the first time I'd been sick in a while. And I think it was 2 days after I got my ring, I woke up and it said my body was showing major signs of stress. And I was like, I've only had the ring for 2 days. Like, how accurate can this be? And it was 3 days before I was symptomatic. Literally 3 days later, I was super sick, and it picked it up right away. It was like your temperature's elevated, your sleep score was horrible, my resilience and my recovery. And so I'm like, it was super accurate. It picked up everything. And I'd heard that from other people. They're like, usually it's going to tell you a couple days before you get sick. I should have listened to it and maybe pumped some immune support a couple days earlier.
I was gonna say, like,
so
that's when you know, like, you need to start doing something.
Yeah. So it was
crazy.
it was spot on. So it was super interesting. I will definitely pay attention to that again.
That's
But
so sweet.
yeah, it's some of the metrics that you might not symptomatically feel, but things internally. So
Do you pay attention to HRV?
not that much.
Yeah.
When I was sick though, my HRV was way off.
Yeah.
So
What does yours typically run at?
I don't know. I haven't looked that much into it,
that's
but
okay.
yeah, it's interesting, honestly.
Yeah. With the Oura Ring, did you look into other trackers?
I didn't
Or-
really. I've had an Apple Watch for forever, and I liked it, and I still wear it, obviously. But I don't know. There were some metrics it was missing, and for me too. You guys might agree if you've had Apple Watches. I feel like a lot of people get into this trap where when you're working out, you can track your workouts.
Yeah.
And I don't even do this anymore, but it would tell you like how many calories you burned, and I think people get obsessive about that, or like what your heart rate was, or your steps, or like for me, on the 50-minute mark of an hour, it'll tell me to stand up or tell me I've been lazy through the day or something like that. So that I stopped liking because it was almost stressing me out. Like I need to be working harder or something. And I've had so many people say the same thing. So I like my Apple Watch. I think my Oura Ring a little bit more in depth for some of like the sleep stuff. I've never worn my Apple Watch to bed. I know I think there's EMFs in Apple Watches, so
Both actually.
yeah. So I don't know. That's the hard thing. I do wear my Oura Ring obviously to track sleep. Try to keep my Apple Watch across the room at night, but yeah, there's a lot of really cool wearables and things out there right now.
Yeah.
Do you know more?
I want to look into the Calo Ring, the Current, Calo Current. It's just, I know it's like a bit cheaper and you don't have to pay like a monthly thing, but I also want the good metrics.
Yeah,
So I have to look into that one.
Yeah.
And see if
Super cool.
which one I want to do.
I think there's a couple different rings out there right now, so I don't know. I have to kind of look at the pros and cons and see what they're all missing and whatnot. But yeah, a lot of cool things out there.
Yeah, I have not heard of that one before, so that would be a new one.
I think it's like $200. And
Really?
And they track sleep for sure.
HRV.
And, yeah, I think it is HRV, but I need to, I'd like a sample report. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I need to look into that.
Yeah, I've heard good things about the Whoop too.
Yeah.
So.
Hello.
I'm joining.
Hello. Yes. Good. We're actually talking about just in general, just health hacks that we're doing right now in our lives, and just touching base on how we're tracking
New things
that
we've
and what-
incorporated for
Yeah.
health.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're kind of off the cuff in it.
Okay.
With
Some of the new
with one
topics.
thing. So
All right, cool.
yeah, so Ashley talked about just her journey with a little bit of a diet change that she made, how she tracked that through the BIAs, what that's looking like, and then Katie was talking about her new Oura Ring and then walking that she's incorporated, and how she's been tracking that with her Oura Ring, with sleep and cycles and that kind of thing. So we touched base on that a little bit, and we got all the different options out there for wearables too. We found, but I did, off of that topic of your wearables, I was using my Apple Watch for a while, and kind of the same thing. It was more like stressing me out than anything on the exercise, and like, did I stand enough today? Did I get enough steps in today? And I actually, like, once I became a mom my first time, I had to like whip it off because I was like, I'm not getting my steps in. I'm not getting my
No.
movement in.
Kinda stresses you
It's
out,
not the
honestly.
same. Yeah, and my numbers were drastically different than even while I was pregnant. And so I had to really like take a step back and be like, okay, what am I getting in my day? You know, am I making time for movement? Those kind of things. It was still a good way, and I probably could get back to that and, you know, do it in a healthy way. But I had to really listen to myself, my body, and the time period I was at. But with the Oura Ring, I was having some kind of mast cell histamine stuff going on, and I was talking about EMFs with one of our providers here, and I had been wearing the Oura Ring for a couple days, and I was like, I'm getting this weird head tingling through my arm up my head. I'm like, I don't know what it is. You've been adjusting me for weeks. What's going on? And he's like, oh, I don't know. Like, we'll see if it makes a difference. We'll do some, you know, neuro stuff, whatever. So I did some neuro stuff, and I had this weird birth story. Had some neuro stuff with that too. And so I'm like, is this correlated? What's going on? After we had talked a little bit, then in our group meetings in the morning, and somebody had brought up EMFs and mast cell and histamine correlation when you're going through kind of just basically my system was on overload, right? And I had some old stuff, probably some heavy metal stuff going on, some things that probably would make me extra sensitive right now. And I was like, I'm taking this Oura Ring off because I got adjusted that morning, saw no change. I whipped my Oura Ring off. I'd shut off my Bluetooth. And by the end of the night, no tingling. I haven't had tingling since.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, I
So
believe
does
it.
Yeah.
the Oura Ring because I've heard that Oura Ring
I-
changed where it doesn't have.
I thought I heard it didn't have EMFs,
But
I'm
I
not
haven't
really
looked
sure.
into
It was the old one.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
And so they have been doing
Good.
better. It was the old one. So it was a very old version. And that's
Good.
also, too, I was like, it wasn't tracking everything that I wanted. It was only tracking my sleep. So it was a very old generation one.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what the EMF scores of the old ones even are, but I know that in general they were advertising lower EMFs in general. But I'm
Was
sure
enough.
it's still using Bluetooth.
Yeah.
You know, like there still's got to be some kind of
Something.
connection
Yeah.
within that. And it was the older version. So the newer might be different. I want to look into it more because I think there's a lot of great data. But
That totally happened with my Apple Watch too. Like I had it on my wrist, and I started getting shooting pain from it,
really?
and I'm like, this is So I wear it for my workout class, and that's it. And I tell people too with sleep, like it's great to use for once in a while, but again, like you're getting that EMF, and like you can start to know your own sleep pattern. Like you don't need something to tell you, like base it on how you feel and that kind of thing, and or get a real test. But yeah, that EMF can really affect people for sure. Yeah.
something that I was not even like on my radar. But
Was that around the time that you had that allergic response too?
yeah, so it was
Okay.
it was after it. So I was starting to feel a little bit better, but I was like, I need to track my sleep because my sleep was a huge part of it too. So I was like, I need to kind of figure out my sleep, all these things. So I was like, I'm gonna take one and figure it out. And it was helpful for that, but I was immediately within 2 days of wearing it, I was starting to get the tingling up the side. And I'm like, it's just I can't get rid of it. It feels like
crazy.
something's numb.
Yeah.
Something is going numb.
Yes.
And-
Believe it.
Yeah.
Buy an EMF blocker immediately.
I know.
Just like put it on the
Yeah, there
We
are
need to take
EMF
our
blockers
watches
out
off.
there.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are some out there that you can put on your phones or on yourself. So
We talked about that during our sleep podcast too, is
Yeah.
get it out of the bedroom.
yes, for sure. That's been another thing. And at the same time, I did the same thing. Would put it either on because it's my time on my phone when I wake up, and I have a baby, so I have to know what time it is when I wake up when she wakes up. And so I've been putting it on airplane mode, but otherwise most of the time I try to shut it off, but try to get that time off. But
That's awesome.
For myself right now, what I've been trying to incorporate a little bit more of, since I've been kind of still recovering from some mold exposure and some mast cell and histamine stuff, my body has been taking a long time with the adrenal dysregulation, blood sugar dysregulation. I'm also breastfeeding, just a lot going on in my life right now. And so I've had to really take a step back. My recovery is not there. Also, my just energy level, I get tanked very quickly, just that adrenal dysfunction. And it's been really hard for me, especially postpartum. Like, I want to get back into working out and movement. I was super active during my pregnancy and felt good. And then all this stuff just banged at me at postpartum. And so it hasn't been, it's starting to get nicer now, but it hadn't been. And I really have forced myself to start doing restorative yoga classes, which is like no movement. And it is the hardest thing in the entire world. I did not know what it was. I'd been suggested to try it, and I was like, well, you know, I like yoga. Like, that sounds like stretching. I can't do too much because it literally, it tanks me immediately. Or I just, like, I don't have the energy or strength to do it while I'm doing it. So I'm like, okay, restorative yoga, like, it's like stretching. It's like 10 poses in the whole hour. And it is fantastic.
Where you're at.
Yeah, for where I'm at. And I'm in there with every single retiree in the community. But I'm like, this is super hard for me. It was super challenging for me to go in there and not get the workout that I anticipated and had in my mind, but I knew I couldn't do.
Yeah.
And I leave there and I, you know, feel rejuvenated. I feel restored. I feel stretched out. I'm very tight. I don't leave there feeling drained. I don't feel like I don't like tank a few minutes later. I'm not sore the next day from it. And like, I'm already sore going into it and I'm not even doing anything. So that's when I know my body's inflamed. And it's still really hard for me to do it, to take that hour and just be silent and to sit in these poses for a very long time. But it has been a new journey for me, and meeting myself where I'm at right now has been really great. And just sitting inside, like, I never thought I could sit in a pose for 3 to 4 minutes and not think. I never thought I could do that, and here I am doing it.
That's yoga is because some people say I can't meditate, and especially for people who struggle with ADHD, that yoga is a part of it that makes it easier to do that because you're doing a little movement, but you're getting that breath work in there.
Yes.
And so that's a great way to kind of ease into the meditation side of it for some people. So
I
that's
force
great.
myself to get out of my house, so I'm not in my house trying to force myself to meditate. I'm not listening to, you know, somebody telling me how to meditate, and those are great ways to do that. Don't get me wrong, but that's why I said I can't right now. My space, my capacity isn't there to like listen to something or be in my home. Like right now, that area, I need to get out of there. I work there all day. My kids are there when I'm not working, and like it is kind of a stressful environment for me right now. It's a mess. It's all these things, like with 2 kids, and every weekend is has something going on, and so it's just like
She says it nicely.
Yes, this is me in a happy mood talking about my home. Just kidding. But truthfully, it gets me out of my home. It gets me in a position that's uncomfortable to start with, and then by the end of it, I'm comfortable. I'm relaxed. I'm not thinking about, you know, what to do next, or even if I am, like it's kind of a nice moment to think about those things and rest in that minute, the 3-4 minutes.
That's what I kind of realized changing my workouts too. I think I was talking to you guys before we started the podcast about overtraining, because I love working out hard, but I thought I had to be sore, and that was what dictated a good workout. And I loved being sore, but once I got my Oura ring and I saw my stress and how bad my sleep was and my resilience and recovery, I'm like, I don't need to be sore. I don't have all the hours of the day to do a workout. It has to be quick and concise. Just do some movement. I've been feeling so much better. My resilience is better. My sleep is better. And so it's almost like a different challenge. I have to do something a little bit different. So it's kind of like you're like, it's a totally different workout and it's a different challenge. So
We're talking about life hacks.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, going along with like time for exercise.
Yes.
A really easy life hack that I do to get my exercise in, it takes me about 16 to 18 minutes, is I will go for a run for 1 mile, and every minute I stop and do 3 to 4 exercises. So you're getting about 6 to 8 rounds of those exercises. It doesn't feel hard, but at the end you've done about 6. If you do 10 push-ups every time you stop, you've done 60 to 80 push-ups.
that's a lot.
But it goes so quick, and if I only have like 18, 20 minutes to get an exercise in during the day, like it's great. And I'm sore that like talk about sore, but not to get sore, but like I feel it the next day, even though you don't really feel it like during the time. So that's an awesome exercise hack. Like, how do I get it in? Like, you can do it.
How do you, with that, like, how do you, in a sense, track it or know your limit and where you want to get to? What's your goal from that, I guess?
You mean just like with?
Yeah, with yourself. Like when you're doing like, I want to get these exercises and at the same time I'm running and have a short period of time. Is that kind of main?
Just to get moving, because get out in the morning, get that natural light, like whenever you're going to do it. But I do it in the morning, so I get up, I'm busy with kids, and the dog needs to be exercised too.
Yes.
So we go for a
It's
run.
2 for 1.
It is,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
And but it doesn't take me very much time. And I usually do 10 to 20 lunges, and I usually do some kind of crunching or bicycle, and then something for the arms, either triceps or push-ups. And then I get up and run my next mile. And so the faster you run, the less
Oh yeah.
reps you have to do. So
Yeah.
that's some motivation
Like
too.
an incentive.
So
That's a
because
good
you have to go a
idea.
mile, yeah. But yeah, you
That's
can get
fun.
it done pretty quick.
I like that because it
Yeah,
is
me
true.
too.
Like sometimes I'm like, okay, well I got my walk in today, but I didn't get my weight bearing exercises in.
Yeah.
So like now I'm walking for 45 minutes, but now I got to do a 20-minute workout. Like that's an hour. I don't have enough time. I don't even have enough time for the
Enough
walk.
hours in
You
a
could
day.
do it walking too. You don't have
Yes.
to run. You can
Yeah.
just break it up and do it
And do walking.
and don't feel silly. Like my neighbors see me on the ground, they're probably like, "What is going on?"
What's happening?
They're driving by,
At least
but
you're
I don't
doing
care.
something.
Yeah. You probably inspire them.
Hopefully,
know.
that's what I tell myself.
We'll go with that.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
No one's called the ambulance yet, like thinking I'm having a heart attack or something. But
That's good.
Yeah.
Any other health hacks? that
Yeah,
you've tried?
well, I've been diving into spices a little bit more for a class that I'm going to be teaching. And so, one little life hack or something I've been trying is doing fennel. Fennel seeds that help with hormone balancing. So, fennel has a lot to do with helping perimenopausal symptoms and menopause symptoms, and some good research out there. So, I got just a little tea scooper. I wish I had it with me, but it just hangs on the side of my cup, and I can just scoop some of the fennel in there and trap it. It's just like a little tea thing, and just put it in water. So I can just, it gives a little licorice type flavor to it, but it tastes really refreshing. And so I've just been soaking that in some water and getting it that way. And also there's this great tea or a little drink that I can make with it. It's just some milk alternative mix or heated up with some about 4 to 8 threads of saffron with a smashed up cardamom seed or a couple of those smashed up. Smells so good. And then some fennel in that as well. You heat it up and then you just strain it. And then the saffron is great for mood regulation. And so it goes head to head in some research studies for ADHD support, but it just helps with regulation and helps you feel a little bit relaxed. And so get the fennel and the hormone support and the mental health support just in a little drink at night. So
Have you noticed a difference?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just more
That's cool.
relaxed and feel better. So it's not earth shaking, but it's
Yeah.
definitely like, oh yeah, I feel better. So
It's cool. Yeah, that is. I mean, I drink fennel right now daily for just milk production. So I'll do just like the mother's milk tea.
yeah,
But I have to incorporate some. I do like it, but I have to usually I'll like steam some coconut milk into it just to give it a little bit because that fennel I do like the taste of it, and I like the creamy idea of it, which is good. But I also have been using like a basil tea for that like adrenal function and regulation in the morning too. But I do notice that like throughout the day, something similar versus like in morning's a good time to do it when our cortisol as women is really high. But I also sip on it throughout the day because my cortisol is all messed up all day right now.
all day long.
Yes. And so it's just a simple thing that even if it's placebo effect for me right now, it's like, okay, I need to grab my basil tea. And just like help give me some mood stability and regulation right now. But that sounds fantastic.
You should write that down.
I will.
Yeah,
I'll give it to
I'll
you.
try it.
But
Yeah.
talking about stress reduction life hacks is I often tell my patients because busy moms especially like don't have time for 5-10 minute meditations during the day. So just taking 1 to 2 minutes of breath work. So just taking some deep breaths. Sometimes it works to pair it every time you go to the bathroom or every time you eat or just, that so you know that you do it. It's attached to some other habit that you have. And you just have that time, even if it's not even a minute. It works. Like focus on your deep breath. It just helps you get out of the sympathetic into that parasympathetic range. So you're not just cruising through the day in your sympathetics. Sometimes that's easier to get in than doing, I'm going to set a time for a longer period. And along those same lines is after you exercise. That's a great time to do that 1 to 2 minute breath work. Don't move. It just, again, gets the parasympathetic nervous system back online. So you're not, I always tell my exercise patients, I'm like, we don't want to go out and cause some road rage because we just did our workout class. So we're just going to chill, get it down in that parasympathetic range. So yeah, so those are some fun little
Yeah, I like that a lot because it's
tricks.
true. Because I'll tell people, too, we'll talk about it. Exercise is a stressor on the body. Eating is a stressor on the body. It can be a stressor on the body.
Yeah.
Like, these things that are healthy, can raise our cortisol. Even before we eat something again, even before we exercise, it can. And how important that is to attach it to the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system, and reminding ourselves that, okay, we're in the sympathetic zone right now because it is causing a stressor on the body, a healthy stressor, but how do we get ourselves back to the parasympathetic range so we don't stay in that spot? That's a really great way to do it.
Another time to do it is right before you eat because it gets you your digestive system ready to take food. And so instead of working through your lunch hour, like just focus on your eating and take a few deep breaths before you even start eating to get that system going. So that's another great easy hack.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and like you said, sometimes setting an alarm, it's not the time that we need it exactly. It's a great time. If you need to, that's how you need to do it. That's great. But it's recognizing those moments like, okay, right now,
when you
like,
get to that point.
yes.
Yeah, where you can recognize, okay, I'm not breathing. That's even better. Yep.
This one's really silly, but we were originally going to talk about vegetables today.
Maybe we won't.
I know.
After.
I felt like I needed more fruits and veggies, so my dessert has been the Nutridyne Fruits and Greens, the chocolate peppermint one. I've been on like a raw dairy kick recently, so I have good yogurt, and I just do a scoop of chocolate peppermint fruits and greens for dessert, and it is like the best hack ever. I've gotten all my family hooked on it. It literally tastes like a dessert. It's a ton of fruits and veggies. I mean, it tastes like a guilty thing. So I don't know if you're struggling to get in fruits and greens, obviously like eating the whole foods is awesome, but that can be helpful sometimes, and I just felt like I needed a little extra immune support. So kind of silly, but the chocolate peppermint is really, really good. So
That sounds so good.
I really recommend.
I'll feed off of that topic. So I've been doing coconut pudding. Coconut chia seed pudding.
I love that too.
Yes, it's so easy. Like you just
Yes.
crack open a can of coconut milk and about a fourth to half a cup of chia seeds. Let it soak overnight, and then you can put whatever topping on there.
I
and
put
there's
the
no
chocolate
guilt.
fruits and greens in there too.
Yeah.
For flavor.
Oh, there you go.
Super
Yeah.
good.
So I've been putting like cocoa nibs, which are great
Those are so
for
good, too.
increasing nitric oxide production,
Yeah.
brain health, and then just some nuts, whatever seeds you want to put, maybe a little fruit.
Yeah.
Like zero
It's
guilt.
so
It's good
good.
for you. You
Yeah.
should eat it.
Yes.
But it feels
That's
like
awesome.
dessert.
Yes.
You need to write that down too.
All right. We'll do it.
That
Put in
makes
the
me
show
think of your
notes.
gummies.
I know,
your gummies look
really
fruit,
good.
And I was like,
Yeah,
of course,
those are
fruits
pretty
and greens
good.
in there. 'Cause
Yeah.
just adding
Yes.
different
Yeah.
things.
Way to
And
get
so
your
that is
collagen in.
posted.
Mhm.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is posted online. And then also some of the breathwork stuff that is on our social media pages as well. We're doing it. Like if you're looking for a breathwork, there are a couple of, like the box breathing I think I put on there, and another one I can't remember what it was, but a couple on there too if you're looking for like breathing
Some
hacks.
resources.
Some resources for there, but I would love to get some of these recipes to post
Yes.
on there as well.
All right, we
I'll do
will.
my best. Mine's not really a recipe,
Yeah.
but
I've been doing Ninja Creamies lately with
Oh.
just protein powder, and then you can use like milk or a milk alternative. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
I need to get
Still,
one of those.
I
They're
really-
spendy though, right?
Yeah,
They
but
have a
it's
vitamin.
so
Those ice
much
vitamins,
fun.
healthy ice
That's
cream,
true.
you know?
It's worth the investment. I need to do it.
I want one of
It's been
those.
so good
Yeah.
and so simple. Literally just whatever milk you want to use, and then a scoop of protein powder, and it is so good. Because recently I just got it's like a chocolate mint. So same
Oh
thing.
yeah,
Chocolate
We're on the same
mint.
wavelength.
It's a chocolate mint ice cream powder. It doesn't have any added sugar in it. And it literally just tastes like chocolate mint ice cream, and like the consistency is ice cream.
Like ice cream.
Yeah,
It's
I've
not
heard really good things
weird.
about the creamy. So.
Yeah.
Need to get one.
I did get a
It's so
patient
good.
asking, or actually quite a couple of patients asking about kind of like an ice cream dessert option. And so like I do have brands that I do like, but I'm like, okay, I mean, they're $8 a pint, you
So
know.
expensive. Yeah.
And that's, sometimes I'm like, well, it depends, are you doing dairy or you're not doing dairy and those kind of things. So I'm like, I do know, like people love their Ninja Creamies for that reason, because by the end of it, like you could just get the milk that you like, or maybe you have something in your fridge that's a lot easier than going out and buying, somewhere they're not everywhere either. These alternatives that we're giving people, a good healthy alternative is probably going to be at a co-op or a good healthy food store. There's not a ton at, Walmart, Target, Cub, Kowalski's might have a few, but, they have to go out and get it. So to have everything on hand.
They're pretty easy. Like I have a Vitamix at home. Last summer I made a little bit of like ice cream or sorbet, and I would just do like frozen, like full fat coconut milk, and I froze it in like little ice cubes. And then I would throw in frozen fruit, so like frozen mango or banana, and then just do like a little salt or vanilla or whatever, and you just mix it up, and it's so simple, and it's honestly really good.
Yeah.
So much cheaper than getting like a small pint that's like $8 to $10. So
Yeah.
and then you can kind of change the flavor and add whatever you want.
That's
so.
good for you.
Yeah. You can do it at home.
You can.
Yeah, for sure.
And it can be fun and it can taste good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then even have some left over. Like
Freeze it.
yeah,
Dessert.
I can tell you really love it.
yeah, very passionate about it.
Funny.
Anything
Yeah.
else that people had?
I came in at, there's so many, I'm sure, but yeah, this would be a fun one to do
Maybe we'll
another
do a
one
part
on.
2
Yes.
sometime.
I think so too. There's a couple other things too that I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm incorporating like a whipped tallow cream. It's like my morning routine, and to my my 8-month-old has some like eczema patches. Well, they're not eczema yet, but they're dry skin patches from the winter. She's been that's my baby type of thing. But we found our mold exposure right after having her, and so I feel like I'm dealing with a whole other thing with both my kids. But my pediatrician was kind of like gave some recommendations for some things that I wasn't totally ready to use yet. And I've been putting coconut oil on her for just like a natural hydration piece. And I found the whipped tallow, and that's been another thing a lot of people have been talking about recently for anti-aging and just like face cream for good hydration, especially through the winter. You don't need a lot of it. And within 2 days, her skin patches were cleared up. And then I've been just like lathering it on my face now, night before going to bed, because again, my mast cell, my histamine stuff has really affected stuff I can put on my face. And that has been you can now get it everywhere. They even have chapsticks made from it, but you get it on Amazon or online. I get it from a Minnesota company, but that's been just my hands, my body, just a really clean option. It's literally, that's all it is.
Yeah. Can you make that on your own?
You can.
Yeah. We should have a night. There's some things too. We should have what is it? DIY.
Yes.
Night here. Because,
Make
yeah,
your
do
own
some
stuff.
things.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Great.
Awesome.
Well, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
That concludes today's episode of Beyond the Superficial. Thank you for joining us, and stay tuned for more episodes. For more information, please visit our website, www.officialsynapse.com, your partners in healthy living for optimal life. We would love to hear from you on how our podcast might be impacting your life. We also want to hear what interests you. Please leave your feedback on our media page at www.officialsynapse.com. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode.